There's been some major changes in some news about selling on Amazon that you need to know if you are selling on Amazon or if you're going to be selling on Amazon. The first thing is there's a pretty scary change, a new thing that Amazon is requiring all sellers to do. I'll talk about that first. And second, Amazon's actually being taken to court, basically. And I'll give a lot of details about this, but this is another one of those things that could be really scary for Amazon sellers. We'll talk about exactly what's going on here, why they've been taken to court, why they're basically being investigated by the government, and there's some really important implications for Amazon sellers. And make sure to smash that like button if you want me to do more videos like this, giving updates and news about Amazon. But the first thing we're gonna talk about here is Amazon's no longer anonymous. For a long time, if you were selling on the Amazon platform, you were more or less anonymous. Sure, you'd have to report your information to Amazon, but when people purchase from you, when customers purchase from you on the Amazon platform, they didn't know your address, they didn't know a lot of information about you. Amazon is now requiring you to show this and make this information public. And there's a lot of different implications here. One is now, if you're a personal seller, you have to put your home address for everybody to see. Which there's gonna probably be some workarounds that come up. And one of the reasons that Amazon is doing this is I think they don't wanna play middleman anymore. They don't wanna have to deal with any of the legal actions if there's copyright infringements or if customers need to sue the company that's selling. Amazon's basically just saying, we're just a platform. If you have a problem, contact the seller. And this makes it a lot easier for lawyers to get a hold of different businesses. Now, this is gonna be really bad news for people that are doing arbitrage or wholesale. And if you don't know, wholesale is basically where you contact a manufacturer, you buy a product that's maybe normally $100, you can buy it at the wholesale price of $50, and then you sell it on the Amazon platform for that $100, and then you basically make the profit minus the Amazon fees. And this is closing a really big loophole because a lot of manufacturing companies strictly say you cannot resell their products on Amazon. And yet a lot of people were able to get away with this and sell the products on Amazon because the manufacturer didn't know. But now that Amazon sellers have to put in the bio, basically their address and all that kind of information, it's gonna make it much harder for people that are doing wholesale to get away with breaking the manufacturer's terms. On top of this, I think it's gonna make it a lot easier for manufacturers to realize that all these wholesalers are making a bunch of money reselling products on the Amazon platform. So it's gonna make a lot of the manufacturers go directly to Amazon. In my opinion, I think this is gonna very negatively impact wholesalers on Amazon. Leave in the comments down below how you think this is gonna impact wholesalers. Honestly, I think private label sellers and passion product sellers are gonna be fine. Because if you're a private label seller or you're selling your own passion product, it really doesn't matter. As long as your product isn't dangerous and it isn't hurting anybody and you're not infringing on anybody's trademarks, this change probably isn't that big of a deal. But ultimately, I think this is gonna make it very hard for people that are wholesaling on Amazon going forward because it's gonna be so easy and obvious for manufacturers just to sell their own products directly on Amazon. And the second piece of news you need to be aware of if you're selling on Amazon is Jeff Bezos is actually having to testify before Congress. It's an antitrust case is being brought against him and all the different big tech companies. And honestly, it's a little bit scary if you're an Amazon seller because some of the things that they're talking about are definitely a little bit creepy. And one of the things that's been brought up, and you might know this if you're an Amazon seller or if you've been selling on Amazon for a long time, but Amazon rips off a lot of small businesses. Their Amazon Basics program is basically where they take a bag or any kind of private label item that they find and they make their own private label version of that, which that's not that bad. But the part that's a little bit shady is that they would actually have meetings with companies and interview them and basically try to make it seem like they're gonna buy out their company, ask them a bunch of questions, get all their supplier information, get all their branding and demographics, get all this information about the company. And then instead of acquiring that company, they would just take all that data and make their own private label version of this. And they're able to get away with this because they own the largest e-commerce platform. And whether you think that that's totally okay, that that's just how business is being done, or whether you think that that's really shady and they shouldn't be able to get away with that, Either way, it's scary for Amazon sellers because it's highlighting how much power Amazon has. Now, it's not just Amazon that's having to testify before Congress. It's Apple, Google, Facebook, and Amazon, which I did a little bit of research about this. And the fact that all four of them are having to testify before Congress at the same time probably means that this isn't that serious, because if it was just Amazon and they were just really deep diving on Amazon, that would probably mean that they have a lot stronger of a case against Amazon. It seems like it's kind of a blanket thing where they're bringing in all the big tech companies and trying to expose how they do have somewhat of a monopoly. And there always is the chance that they bring like an antitrust lawsuit against Amazon or any of these different companies, and maybe they have to break it up. And something really interesting I found out is the reason that Amazon's able to run such a successful e-commerce business is because of their Amazon hosting services. And if you don't know, a lot of different websites, a lot of different apps use hosting by Amazon. And that's actually one of the most profitable parts of their business. They actually take the money that they make from their web hosting services and invest that into their e-commerce services and trying to build up their fulfillment, trying to build up all their e-commerce capabilities. So they're able to lose money on e-commerce, lose money on acquiring customers because they're making so much money off their web hosting services. And if Congress were to break up these businesses and create an antitrust suit, that could cause some disruption for Amazon's e-commerce side of their business and could cause some disruptions for Amazon sellers. Now, we won't know the results of this antitrust case for at least a few days, if not longer. But this is a big wake-up call to the power that Amazon has. And if you are selling on Amazon, it makes you realize that things outside of your control can actually have major impacts on your business. And that means you might want to consider setting up your own Shopify or WooCommerce website really soon. In fact, this is something that I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on going forward. I actually hired an intern and I hired a digital marketing agency. It's a friend of mine that has a digital marketing agency to increase my Shopify sales, because you know what? Amazon's absolutely amazing platform. It's one of the easiest ways I've ever found to make money. But if something happened to Amazon, or if something happened to my product on Amazon, I want to have that backup. So I'm going to be putting a little bit, or at least I hired some people to put a little bit more energy on increasing my Shopify sales. If you want to set up your own Shopify website, I actually did a tutorial right here, how to set up Shopify in just 4 minutes. And if you are selling on Amazon, you better sell on your own website as well as a backup. Even though I don't get as many sales on Shopify as I do on Amazon, it's still some extra income and it's a little safety net. So click on that video. I'll see you in the next video, and remember to enjoy the journey.